Hello, and welcome to the Ectohead channel. So, times. Specifically, the end times. Is this something that we ought to be worried about? Is it all just mumbo jumbo? There's a chap out there called Chris Bledsoe, who was a blue-collar worker who in 2007 had an encounter with entities, aliens, or as he now believes, some kind of angelic being race. This encounter gave him visions of somebody or something he calls the Lady. He interprets this as being the Virgin Mary, and is nothing but a force for good. Along with these visions, there are stories of greatness or doom for the human race, and the path is ours to choose. However, like all good stories and mysteries, they're annoyingly vague, and in this particular instance, all Chris Bledsoe can tell us in terms of our ability to sway the outcome is basically be loving, think positive thoughts. And I don't know about you, but all that tree-hugging hippie crap is difficult at the best of times. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm very spiritual, I get that, but I'm also grounded in reality. And what I crave more than anything else in this unclutchable subject is a firm handhold. Some solid ground that I can plant both my feet on and a direction that I can steer my ship by. In a recent interview with Joe Rogan, Elon Musk noted that it seemed as though reality was accelerating. They'd just been talking about everything that had been going on the planet. And I agree. It seems like we're rushing headlong into something. Donald Trump, in his efforts to make America great again, but more importantly, in my view, disrupt the power base that we have here globally on the planet Earth, is ignoring international law. He just went in and snatched Maduro right from under his own nose. There's an ex-tweet apparently about one of the palace guards who survived the attack, and it makes very interesting reading. There are protests globally now against the global cabal that has gained power across the planet and is apparently enforcing an agenda of you'll own nothing and be happy, whether you like it or not. And the UN seems intent on keeping the status quo. The evil that we know is better than the evil we don't know. Islam across the planet is taking a bit of a kicking, but being championed, it seems, by the liberal left. Here in the UK, we've had instances of grooming gangs and rape gangs by Muslim men in places like Birmingham. And the powers that be here in the UK seemed intent, initially at least, to gloss over the whole affair. And Christianity in the West is being championed again from its brand new seat, the United States of America. The Charlie Kirk assassination and the Turning Point USA debacle has just gone from bad to worse, as Candace Owens points out. Things are not quite right back at the ranch. And in the absence of Charlie Kirk and what seemed to be his even hand, TPUSA has now morphed into some kind of new Christian powerhouse. And if we're looking very far down the line into the future, you might even say a Crusades 2.0, maybe? In other news, 3I Atlas, this comet, as the mainstream media have been calling it, despite all its anomalies that frankly can't be denied, just won't go away. As much as the astronomers and the mainstream media wanted to, it's just there. It's developed more anomalies, there may be talk of radio signals, and to make matters worse, the CIA in their infinite wisdom went and classified the object. Now, let me just repeat that. The CIA have classified a celestial object. And this brings me neatly to the topic of disclosure. What can we disclose? What can't we disclose? And I thought it was most eloquently put when individuals started saying, you can't classify the nature of reality itself. By all means, classify technology, but not our reality. And that's exactly what they did with Ray Atlas. They just classified reality. When the powers that be, when the establishment classify, nature itself seems to be pushing back and saying, in the shape of 3i Atlas, hello. People debate all the time about where these visitors are from, but the bottom line is, it doesn't matter. It's unimportant. And if the declassification of visitors from elsewhere, wherever that may be, dimensionally or planetary, then we're just going to have to take it on the chin. And if that subject then teeters into technological areas, well, we'll just have to find a way to get around that. Because in view of what the military, or rather surviving military, Venezuelan soldiers said after the Americans had attacked, they launched something at us. We didn't know what it was. We'd never seen anything like it. We all started bleeding from the nose, some of us from the ears. Our heads felt like they were exploding from the inside, and we couldn't stand up. Trump hinted at this in a press conference just after the operation, and during his ramblings, which I'm eternally grateful for, by the way, he intimated that they had a capability, something that could switch everything off. The Venezuelan soldier said the radar and everything else just went off. Now, is this UFO technology something derived from a crash? Something back-engineered? Who knows? But if they're starting to use it, it makes disclosure easier. Now, I understand the need for not showing our hand to our enemies, but the world is changing. Capabilities are ramping up everywhere, and America apparently is being left with no choice. No, we can take the truth. I've often wondered how it would appear, whether it would be presidential or whether somebody would film something and manage to get that information out, and it would be an undeniable event, an undeniable media event filmed by a citizen of a country somewhere on the planet, and leave us all in absolutely no doubt. So imagine for 1 second that you're sat here in front of your TV screens, and then there it is. Footage of an actual visitor. You can't quite believe your eyes, and then you take a moment to look again. And then there's a shock. And you're in disbelief. You're looking at something. It's undeniable. It's there. It's alive. It's moving. How long does that last? An hour? A day? A week? A month? Years? It will be a shock. There will be many people who will be unsettled for quite some time. But I think after 12 days or the first month, everyone will have come down on the side of, well, they're here and we've still got to pay the bills. There is no doubt that Chris Bledsoe is part and parcel of what's going on. He's been chosen, it seems, in a timely manner to appear and give his message, just as everything seems to be going to hell in a handcart. And ultimately, all this tree-hugging hippie crap of love is the way might actually be the way. And that's not easy with so much hatred and division in the world. But I can tell you what it's done for me. It's clarified the battle lines and the adversaries who sit behind those battle lines, orchestrating everything that's going on in the planet. Those dark organizations and individuals who would seek to divide us just to retain power, who would cause havoc and chaos and death just to hold on to that power. And in the middle of it all, a middle-aged, religious, blue-collar Chris Bledsoe, calmly stating, love is the way. Think good thoughts. Well, Chris, I am thinking good thoughts. The best I can, at least. But it's hard, isn't it? When so many dark individuals are deeply in love with the status quo. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Do like, subscribe and share if you'd like. It would help the channel reach more people and I would appreciate that. And until next time, bye-bye.